What is up, guys? Welcome back to S3M2 Football and welcome to today's football preview video. We're back at it with some action from the English Premier League this weekend. So please join me as I cover this weekend's Super Sunday clash that is kicking off this Sunday on the 14th of September at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. For this one, Manchester City host Manchester United. We start off today's video with the home side here being Man City. Now, City's opening three fixtures have not gone according to plan at all. It's actually been very bad with 2 losses and 1 win, and improvement is needed as soon as possible. Key to those improvements, I think, will be Norwegian centre forward Erling Haaland. In 3 appearances, Haaland has 3 goals, and I think he's the perfect target man in this Manchester City setup. Haaland is strong, he's quick, and he is an established goal scorer. If you give Haaland an inch of space, he will find the back of the net. Creating some of the chances for him, I think in midfield, we will see Portuguese attacking midfielder Bernardo Silva. In 3 appearances, Bernardo Silva has no goals or assists as yet. But when I look at him, I see the main playmaker in midfield for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva can dribble, he can pass, and he's the kind of player who is just creative pretty much anywhere in that attacking third for Manchester City. In midfield for the Citizens, I want to talk about Spanish defensive midfielder Rodri. In 2 appearances, Rodri also has no goals or assists, but for me, he is the anchor in midfield for Manchester City. Rodri is solid, he's very aggressive in how he chases down the ball and wins back possession, but he's also a very patient player. Rodri is that kind of player who can sit deep in your midfield and pull the strings of your team. Tactically for Manchester City, Coach Pep Guardiola wants his team to play a possession style of football. At Manchester City, it's all about passing the opposition into submission. To that end, I think we will see this team lining up in a 4-3-3 formation. Manchester City are chock full of midfielders who know how to hold onto the ball and control the tempo of the game. Out wide, this team has wingers like Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku who combine pace and creativity to create chances endlessly. Up front, leading the line, a player like Erling Haaland can score goals with both feet, with his head, and poses a threat all the time. Okay, on to the away team. Now for Manchester United, their opening few fixtures have also not gone according to plan. United's first 4 have ended in 2 losses, 1 win, and then 1 draw. However, I think the Red Devils do still have the excuse of being a team that is in the process of rebuilding at the moment. Key to that rebuild, I think, will be Cameroonian right winger Bryan Mbeumo. In 4 appearances, he has 2 goals, and for me, Mbeumo operates as an inverted winger on that right wing for Manchester United. He is strong, he's very, very quick, but he's also very, very direct. Mbeumo wastes absolutely no time in picking up the ball, carrying it to the opposition box, and then taking shots on the goal. Creating some of the chances for him in midfield, I also want to talk about Portuguese attacking midfielder Bruno Fernandes. In 4 appearances, Bruno has just 1 goal, but when I look at him, I see the main playmaker for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is a phenomenal passer of the ball with great accuracy and range. He also combines his vision and his awareness all over the pitch to be able to just inject so much creativity into this Red Devils team. Keeping it solid in the midfield for Manchester United, I want to talk about Brazilian defensive midfielder Casemiro. In 3 appearances, Casemiro has no goals or assists, but when I look at him, I see the destructive force in midfield for Manchester United. Casemiro is physical, he's aggressive in winning the ball back, but his work rate for me is on a whole other level. This is the kind of player who's constantly running to win the ball back for his teammates and start the counter-attacks. Tactically for Manchester United, coach Ruben Amorim wants his team to be able to attack on the counter, using all of their pace up front to just overwhelm the opposition defenders. To that end, I think we will see Manchester United lining up in a 3-4-2-1 formation. Manchester United have a very dynamic and quick front line that knows how to make the most of their speed and how to take advantage of any open spaces on that pitch. The midfield for this team needs to remain solid, win the ball back in those central areas, and then just feed the forwards so that they can do the damage to the opposition. Okay, on to the head-to-head and the S3M2 verdict. Now, the last 5 editions of the Manchester Derby have ended in 2 wins for City, 2 wins for United, and then 1 draw separating the two teams. So this one is actually pretty evenly balanced. In terms of goal output in those last 5 fixtures, Manchester City have hit the back of the net 6 times, but Manchester United have equaled that with 6 goals of their own. So once again, it seems very delicately poised between these two juggernauts of English football. In terms of the English Premier League table right now, Manchester City find themselves languishing in 13th spot with just 3 points, while Manchester United are in ninth position with 4 points. So both of these teams right now are performing very, very underwhelmingly. It's not looking good for them, and improvements have to be made. In terms of injuries for the citizens, Pep Guardiola's team will have to do without Omar Mamouche and Mateo Kovacic. So I think perhaps Manchester City might lack a bit of creativity in terms of penetrating Manchester United's defense. United, however, do have problems of their own. The Red Devils might be without Cunha and Mason Mount, both who came off with injuries in their last fixture against Burnley. And United are also hoping that Argentine centre-back Lisandro Martinez will be able to make his return in time for this fixture from a long-term ACL injury. I think going forward as well, we have to look at the fixtures that these two teams play after this one. United play Chelsea next weekend in the Premier League, while Manchester City host Napoli midweek in the Champions League, and then they have to travel to Arsenal in the Premier League next weekend. So obviously we can see City already have the more difficult fixture schedule, and I think that fixture congestion and fatigue is going to play a very, very big role in this one. I think City are really in this one with a lack of form defensively in terms of their defensive discipline and offensively in terms of their creativity in front of the opposition goal. I think it will be very interesting to note as well that this is going to be a very high energy and high octane game of football. Manchester United are going to do a lot of sprinting, and that means that Manchester City on their own will have to do a lot of sprinting as well. And then you couple that with the fact that Napoli are a team that also plays that high octane, high energy style of football, and so do Arsenal. And that just means that City are going to be a very tired and very drained team at the end of next weekend. Ruben Amorim has made real strides in terms of fixing Manchester United by getting rid of excess players like Andre Onana and Alejandro Garnacho. I think, though, he has also brought in some very important players like Cunha, like Mbuemo, and Sesko as well. So United have solidified themselves up front, brought in new talent, and injected a whole lot of creativity in their attacking third. City, on the other hand, have done the opposite. They're now without Jack Grealish, who's departed the Etihad, and Kevin De Bruyne, who's now actually playing for Napoli, so they will see him midweek when they have to deal with Napoli in the Champions League. However, I think squad depth and fatigue are definitely going to be an issue for Guardiola going forward, and I think now it's all about what fixture does he prioritize. This Manchester derby that has major bragging rights on the line, or do we perhaps prioritize that fixture against Napoli and then look to sort of progress in the Champions League instead? I think Guardiola will definitely be happy with a draw, and I actually think Amorim will also be happy with a draw at the Etihad because City can be a very difficult team to play against. I think actually that will be the result we get here, a draw. I think both teams will be happy with that. Both coaches will be happy with that. The aim of the game right now is to just avoid unnecessary fatigue and unnecessary injuries. Both of these teams really struggled last season because of injuries, and they'll be looking to avoid that. My score prediction for this one is going to be Manchester City 1, Manchester United 1.